What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. This video, I'm gonna do the NFL 2021 rookie stat projections. I'm gonna do the top 15 picks because it's easier to do them than to do the whole draft. I'm not going to include the 3 offensive linemen that was drafted in the first 15 picks just because it's kind of hard to project them because they might not start or they might get switched to a different position like left tackle to maybe like a guard or anything of that sort. So I'm going to just exclude them for now, and I'm only going to do skill players and quarterbacks. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I want you guys to check out my last 2 videos too that I made. I put some good work into that, so I appreciate you guys. Check that out. And let's get into this video. All right, with the first pick, we got Trevor Lawrence from Clemson as being the best quarterback coming out of the draft, and I agree with that. And even though he is the #1 pick, I think he's going to struggle a little bit. As we've seen through the preseason, he wasn't just like killing defenses, but he definitely was doing what #1 draft pick should do, which is lead the offense and make sure everybody do what they need to do and get the win pretty much. But going to the regular season, which is going to be completely different because you're going to go up against NFL starters and veterans and players who basically been doing this for years upon years. And I think he's going to struggle a little bit because he's not going to have as many weapons in Jacksonville as he did in Clemson. And what's helping them out that I believe is they have Urban Meyer, that used to be a college coach for Ohio State, so he knows, and he went up against Clemson too while he played there, so he knows his strengths, his weaknesses, and what to do and what not to do, so he's going to put him in the best position to succeed. And I believe he's going to get most of his yards from the short to intermediate pass game, which probably I would say from the 0 to maybe 10 to 13, 15 yards. With Trevor Lawrence being the starter for the Jaguars, there shouldn't be no controversy or any problems with who's starting, who's not, compared to maybe a couple of the quarterbacks we're going to be talking about on this list. So with him starting, I see him going for 4,000 passing yards, 24 passing touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, completing 63% of his passes. I believe that with these stats that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good rookie year, and he's going to help the Jaguars and turn their franchise around and give them hope. With the second pick, also the second quarterback drafted was Zach Wilson out of BYU. Zach Wilson has a lot of great qualities with throwing the ball and him being compared to Patrick Mahomes and all that. And I don't say I believe into the hype, but I think he has the most potential out of all the quarterbacks that was drafted this year. Zach Wilson being drafted by the New York Jets, I think that he's going to have a pretty good year. And also he has some good weapons around him, such as Elijah Moore that was drafted this year by them, Corey Davis, Tevin Coleman, Jamison Crowder, Tyler Croft. Just that he has weapons around him. I'm not saying they're the best weapons, but they're good enough for a rookie starting out to put up with some good production and help his team from being the worst to at least a competitive team in the NFL. I have Zach Wilson throwing for 4,248 passing yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and completing 60% of his passes. The third pick is Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. He got drafted to the 49ers and also the 3rd quarterback drafted this year. Trey Lance's situation is a little different because he's not guaranteed to start out the gate. He might wait a couple games and then start because Jimmy Garoppolo is a starter as of right now. And with that being said, my projections, I think he's going to start 9 games. Starting 9 games is kind of hard to project his stats. So I'm only going to go with the projection I have, which is 9 games. And the ability that he has that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have is running the ball and taking more chances down the field than just settling. So that might be why he starts more games than he doesn't. But I have him going for a little over 2,500 passing yards, 13 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, and throwing 8 picks and completing 53% of his passes. Not to mention, I think he's going to also run for over 400 rushing yards. And you guys might be thinking, that's a lot of production for a player who's only going to start 9 games. Well, the reason why I say that is because I think he's going to have an instant impact when he starts because of the weapons he has, and the offense will open up more for him because they can do more with him. And also he has Kyle Shanahan as his coach, which is one of the best offensive coaches in the league. So he's going to find ways to put him in the best position to make him pass for more yards, rush for more yards, open his offense up, and make everybody better. fourth pick is Kyle Pitts from Florida. He got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons as a tight end. And with his ability to be a hybrid tight end, to be a receiver, a tight end, and a blocker, I think that allows him to be one of the hybrid players on this whole draft, and also out of probably the tight ends ever drafted. With Kyle Pitts being the second option for Matt Ryan, I wouldn't be surprised if he's targeted a whole lot and he has a whole lot of receiving yards and he just goes completely off this year as a rookie. But for what I think he's going to do, I have him projecting for 800 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns with 82 receptions. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has way more receiving yards and receptions, because he's just one of those dudes. I think he's going to come in the NFL ready. So he might end the season with over 1,000 receiving yards and with at least 100 receptions. With the fifth pick is JaMarr Chase from LSU. He got drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. I can see JaMarr Chase being the first or second receiver option on this team because Joe Burrow was his quarterback in college at LSU. They got that rapport, that connection that I think that's going to help them out. And also Joe Brady being their offensive coordinator, both their weaknesses and strengths, so he's going to maximize that to the fullest. And I also believe because he has other weapons surrounding him, such as T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, Samaj Piron. He has other players that's probably going to not outshine him, but it's going to be looked at more than he is because he's a rookie. So I feel like with that going on, that's going to help him shine, and I think it's going to help him go crazy in his rookie year. And also in the preseason, he did have some drop issues. That might occur some in the regular season, but I don't think it's going to affect him to the point where he's not going to have a bad season. But my projections is he's going to have 1,000 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, and 90 receptions. With the sixth pick, Jaylen Waddle, the receiver from Alabama, got drafted by the Miami Dolphins. I'm not that high on Jaylen Waddle as a lot of people are, but I can see him being a good deep threat receiver, and for his rookie year, I can see him being purely post and a fade route player. And I can see him being another Will Fuller, but just not as good as him yet. But what Jaylen Waddle does have going for him is that he has a connection with Tua as being the quarterback and receiver duo in college. And he also have a good receiver on the other side, which is Devonta Parker, and Miles Gaskin, which is probably going to be one of the most improved players this year, I can see. My projections this year for him is 760 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, and 65 receptions. I'm going to skip the 7th pick because Penei Sewell is a lineman and it's kind of hard to judge linemen, so I'm going to skip the 7th pick and go to the 8th pick. With the 8th pick, the Carolina Panthers selected J.C. Horn, the first corner out the draft, which was a surprise because a lot of people thought Pastor Tan, the second, was going to be drafted as the first corner, and he came out of South Carolina. To me, he's the best DB in the draft. I like his instincts and his speed and his physicality when he brings to the corner position and how he poses on other receivers. And with him showing his ability in college to gamble on picks and read quarterback eyes, I think he's going to have 6 interceptions with 55 tackles and 9 defensive pass deflections. And with him, his ability to gamble, I think he's going to get 6 picks, and he's also more of a man corner than a zone corner. So that's why I believe he's going to have a lot of pass deflections. And he's going to get tried a lot because he's a rookie. With the 9th pick, the Denver Broncos selected Pastor Tan, the second out of Alabama, with him being the second DB drafted. And a lot of people sought him out to be the best DB in the draft. I think he was the second best in my opinion, but his resume, you can argue that he's better than J.C. Horn. With Pastor Tan being on a good defense already, I feel like that's going to help him out with his numbers. He's going to get tried more because all the other players on the team are already proven. So he might get more opportunities to show the elite corner that he is. And also his father was an elite corner in the field, so I can see him coming in, having a straight impact from the jump. And also Pastor Tan is more of a natural corner than J.C. Horn. So I feel like he's not going to gamble as much or bite as much as he would or other rookie corners would. So I have him having 2 interceptions this year with 8 pass deflections and 50 tackles. With the 10th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles selected Devonta Smith, receiver out of Alabama. With the Heisman Trophy winner, got drafted by the Eagles. I feel like he's going to be the number one option from the get-go. And with that being said, I think he's the best receiver in the draft. So I see him having no issues. He's going to have a smooth transition into college and NFL, and he's going to show out. He won't disappoint. I believe he's going to show up and show the Eagles why he should have been drafted as the first receiver. And with his speed, his quickness, and his ability to make separation off DBs, I think he's going to have the most yak yards out of all the receivers in the draft. And I believe he's going to have 1,100 receiving yards, 10 combined touchdowns with receiving and rushing, with 75 receptions. With the 11th pick, the Chicago Bears selected Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State, and he's the 4th quarterback drafted in the first round so far. I can see Justin Fields having an instant impact for his team whenever he starts. I have him starting 10 games this year, and I just feel like he adds a dynamic to the offense that Bears haven't had in years out of a quarterback, and I feel like he gives hope for the Bears for years that they haven't had in a quarterback also. And he's going to make the offense more complex with him being able to run on the ground. It's going to help the Bears and their offense do more things than what they've ever done in the past. And with the 10 starts I believe he's going to have, I think he's going to project to be 2,300 passing yards, 7 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns with 10 interceptions, and 62 completion percentage. You might be wondering why he only has 7 passing touchdowns. For somebody who's going to start 10 games, like, isn't he going to at least throw a touchdown a game? It's not that he's going to not throw a touchdown a game. I just feel like his rushing, and also the Bears are more of a running offense. They're going to emphasize the run game first, and they're going to be more of a play-action offense. So I believe he might not pass for a touchdown every game, but I think he's going to score a touchdown every game by at least rushing or passing. So I feel like both of those combined is going to help out. With the 12th pick, the Dallas Cowboys selected Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State, and also skipped out on the 2020 season. So he's coming in as a player that hasn't played in about a year and a half, you can say. So we're going to see a lot of things that we probably forgot about that he can do that's in his arsenal, that he can help and contribute on the Cowboys defense. I was an active watcher of him while he was playing at Penn State, because I haven't heard about him until I would say he entered the draft. That's when I looked in more into him and what he did in the highlights and stats and stuff of that nature. But I think he has some good potential if he taps into it. And the Cowboys is a good team for him to go to, because they have a lot of linebackers who are either hurt or they're lacking the production that they should be producing. So I feel like he's going to go in and do what he should do. With that being said, I'm projecting him to have 73 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 fumble, and 1 tackle for a loss. And that might be a lot for a linebacker, especially for the rookie year, and maybe from the way this guy was portrayed coming into the draft and now still through preseason. But I still think that he's going to make a great impact for the Cowboys, and his snaps he's going to get is going to put him in a position to help them out. And to round out the first 15 picks, the New England Patriots selected Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama. That Cam is released, we know who's going to be the full-time starter for the New England Patriots. And from his play from their preseason and from what we've been hearing, I think that he's going to start off pretty iffy. He might not start the best, but I feel like he's going to finish pretty strong. Quarterbacks in the top 15, I see Mac Jones struggling the most out of them. But that doesn't mean he's going to be a bad player. I just feel like out of those players that was drafted before him, that was quarterback, they're going to have a little more success and put in a better position than him. But I still feel like he's going to succeed. And after he get the hang of the playbook and after a couple games, I feel like he's going to show his true potential. I'm projecting him to throw for 3,700 passing yards, 20 passing touchdowns, 16 interceptions, with a 59 completion percentage. And that's it, guys. That's my top 15 players projection for the NFL this year. Just let me know if you guys agree or not. Tell me in the comments who you disagree with and who you agree with. And many more. Let's have a conversation in the comments. Share, like, comment, and appreciate for watching the video.